In that case, it's going to be on you. 3, 2, 1, record.
Alright, okay, first off, you're in bullshit, and I'm in deathneck.
Let's get that shit right out of the way.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, let's not bother to say what show this is. Anyway,
everyone knows what show this is. We're all aware.
Yeah, we're all painfully aware. Just, hit Shift Tab, or wait, what button is it? No, Shift Tab is for Steam. Alt Tab in your browser if you forgot why you clicked on this on your subscription feed. Apparently Sonic Boom the cartoon is really fucking good. I watched the entire first season of it, and it's
I'm pretty sure we did an episode about how good Sonic Boom was, like when it came out, like how many years ago?
Well,
like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, but that was on the old show. Yeah. This is a new one.
Yeah.
But no, it was like we were saying it was great in comparison to the game. And I think now it's reached a point where it's just like a good show in general, especially compared to what else Cartoon Network is doing, which is Teen Titans Go and Teen Titans Go and Teen Titans Go.
And that's pretty much it, yeah.
Yeah, just Teen Titans Go. But
and there's that Powerpuff Girls remake that didn't happen.
Well, yeah, it didn't happen. There was rumors of one with all these shitty memes and stuff, but I haven't heard anything about it. I don't watch Cartoon Network anymore. I don't. If Sonic Boom was on iTunes or Amazon, I'd buy it off of there. But no, I just watch it on their website. I don't actually watch the channel anymore. Cause fuck. I understand that they're like trying to make money and shit, but God, just to hit your... I mean, I'm pretty sure they're probably making a lot of money off of Teen Titans Go, It's the same reason, like, Fox still does The Simpsons, and Nickelodeon still does
SpongeBob, yeah.
Yeah, and they completely sacrifice just everything else, all the good content, because, hey, they go with what makes money, and
There's two scenes that I saw from Sonic Boom that actually got me to start watching it this weekend, because I had watched the first episode and I had seen bits floating around on Tumblr, and I'd said this show is really fun and I like it, and we talked about it a little bit on the previous podcast, but I never actually sat down and watched the whole thing. But then I saw there's a post, someone snipped a bit of a video from a scene where all the characters are playing soccer.
Yeah.
And Amy's got the soccer ball, and she says, it all comes down to this. Can this young woman break the glass ceiling and prove once and for all that girls can be just as good at this sport as guys? And Knuckles just standing behind her says, Amy, when people call attention, to gender inequalities like this in this way, it really just undermines the concept of gender equality. Everyone just looks at him like, what? And he's like, what? Just because I'm a meathead doesn't mean I can't be a feminist.
And it's because there's other scenes like that. I think I sent you another scene where they sort of have like this role model police because they're heroes, and a role model cop sort of like latched onto them. And it's that scene where like Sonic and the rest are just sort of like chilling out at Amy's house, and he just goes, when's dinner ready? And he gets called out like because they're conforming to gender stereotypes.
Yeah, and he's like, why is it always the girl that has to cook? Why can't you cook? And then Amy's like, well, Well, actually, I'm the only person here who knows how to cook, and I actually kind of enjoy it. And the guy turns around and says, "What you think is not important."
What you like is not important.
And I was just like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, but for me, the one scene that kind of just sort of just made me just like bust out laughing. Well, there was a lot of scenes, but one that made me bust out laughing and just sort of like rewind it to go back to that scene was with Amy and Styx, and like Styx they're hanging out and they're doing what Styx likes to do for fun, which is like throw mud balls around because she's a fucking trash badger. And Amy's like, "This isn't exactly my cup of tea, but you know what is my cup of tea? A cup of tea." And Styx is like, why'd you just say that?" And she's like, "You remember that conversation we had? I'm just finishing the thought." And Styx is like, "Well, you said that over an hour ago." And Amy's like, "Yes, but if you were, if you were just peeking in on snippets of the conversation, you had to tie them together for it to make sense. If you were watching in." And Six is like, "You see them too?"
And then looks directly at the screen like, "What? They're there." Yeah, no, that and then my by far my favorite line I've heard so far is that episode with the role model police where they finally ditch him and Sonic's like, "Man, being a role model is hard. I'd rather be like hilariously edgy." And then Amy's like, "Sonic, when you say things like that, you make me want to throw up in my mouth."
Oh, and then in the last episode of the first season, Shao the Hedgehog actually turns up, and Eggman's just like, "Oh, he's just so cool. He's just so edgy. Everybody likes him. He's like the second most popular character in the canon." And he actually says "in the canon." And then, yeah, Sonic alludes to the fact that people draw weird artwork of him. He's mentioned that a few times, and yeah, and then they did basically a whole episode about Chris Chan. But
yeah, God. What's so great about that show is that it's clearly written by people who were like fans of the series and are well aware of all the faults of the series and are willing to make jokes about it.
Oh yeah. There's like the one scene where they find a popular video game, and they find like it's like what was it, something Hippo 2, and they're like, "Yeah, that's the best one. The second one was the best one. It really went to crap when it went 3D." And yeah, so yeah, Sonic Boom. It's really good, and it's really not, and again, unfortunately, it's on Cartoon Network, so it immediately got kicked to the side, because Teen Titans Go, and, fucking go watch it. It's pretty fucking sweet. It's pretty fucking good. Anyway, where's our show notes?
You sent them to us.
No, I'm just like, that was me talking to myself because I'm like, where the fuck are they? There they are. Yeah, alright, this is episode 16. We'll figure out a name later. So, yeah, meta shit. What do you want to talk about in meta shit? I'll let you.
Well, I think we should just give a first mention to what's written there. What we actually wrote down here. And that is for us to formally say rest in peace, Chester Bennington, the lead singer of Linkin Park.
Yeah, we intended to record this last week. We're recording on the 30th, but yeah, we intended to record last week, and we still want to make that point of rest in peace, Chester Bennington. Suicide isn't a joke. If you know somebody who needs help, or if you're in that spot, what can I say that hasn't already been said? Just talk to somebody, and if you suspect somebody's not feeling that well, talk to them, because suicide really sucks, really fucking hurts for everybody involved, and while I no longer am Well, I no longer really listen to Linkin Park, and I guess I'm not really a fan anymore. I will say I did really like Linkin Park back in like 2002 2003. When I was back then with Hybrid Theory. That was like my one of my go-to albums, along with like NMM and D12 and like Tech Nine. So yeah, so this kind of hit me, just because it was a band I really liked way back when. And you mentioned you mentioned with you in particular that this kind of hit you in a certain way, didn't it? Or
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't kept up with Linkin Park. I basically stopped listening to Linkin Park after their album Minutes to Midnight, and it wasn't because I didn't like the direction they were going, or I was one of those fans who didn't like Minutes to Midnight. It was straight up just because I became interested in other forms of music and stopped being interested in in Linkin Park. But I did listen to Dead by Sunrise, which was Bennington's other band, for a time. But it was it was one of those things where I hadn't really thought of Linkin Park in a long time, and I had been thinking about it, and occasionally, I'll think to myself, oh damn, I haven't thought about this band in a long time. I should really go check out what they've been doing since the last time I listened to them, And I hadn't thought about Linkin Park in a really, really long time, and then all of a sudden it was like, holy shit, Chester's dead?
Yeah, that kind of threw everybody for a loop. Everybody was sort of like, holy shit.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it turned out it was suicide, and again you just kind of had, really all you can say is rest in peace and best wishes to his friends and family, his former bandmates, and again, just remind people, if you're not feeling well, talk to somebody, because again, suicide, just look at this case, a lot of people are sad, a lot of people are just, anyway, yeah, everybody has said what they've had to say about this, so yeah, rest in peace, Chester Bennington, and that's about all we can say. So
I had a story too from work that I figured you might get a kick out of.
Okay, yeah. Let's
bring the mood back up a little bit. This one you're gonna laugh at. So as you know, I work for a rental car company, and part of our business is we have two sides to our business, right? We have retail rentals and we have replacement rentals. The retail rentals are what you usually think of as a rental car. You're on vacation, you're going somewhere, you fly into a city you don't live in, you need a car to get around. Rather than paying for an Uber, you decide, I'm going to rent a car. That's a retail rental. Or you're on a business trip, and your company's going to be paying for you to have a car out while you're, going on business adventures or whatever. That's a retail rental. A replacement rental is when you're in an accident and your insurance, or the person who hit you, their insurance, is going to pay for you to have a car while your car is being fixed. That's a replacement rental. And the difference is, of course, is that replacement rentals are paid for by insurance companies, and retail rentals are paid for by customers or the businesses they work for. Like if they're renting a cargo van or something.
Yeah.
So the way it works for a replacement rental is every insurance company that wants to do a replacement rental with us, we sign a contract with them that locks them into a special rate that is flat, never changes, doesn't go up and down during the year. It only changes when you renegotiate the contract, right? So, for example, there's a insurance company that's very popular that I won't name that we have a contract with, where we'll give them any car for $25 a day. That's how much they pay.
Oh, wow.
And then up to a certain point. That's excluding things like luxury cars, SUVs, and minivans. But like any other car, like even a hybrid, $25 a day. And then when they have someone who is insured, they'll tell their insured, we'll pay $25 per day, which will cover the entire cost of the vehicle, up to whatever vehicle size or class you own. And then that's that. Well, there's this one insurance company that I also won't name. And they don't work quite that way.
Okay.
We give them this series of special rates, that are really low, flat, not as low as $25 a day. But that company that we give that to is a very big insurance company that is like 90% of our insurance business. So of course we give them a good rate. But this other company, still a big company, still a big insurance company. A lot of people sign to. A lot of people, not just for car insurance, but also house insurance. Actually, our house here is insured through this company. But with their rental program, basically, we give them some very, very, very low rates. 18 a day for an economy car, 20 a day for a compact, 22 for a midsize, 25 for a full size, and so on and so forth. Very low rates. But they don't have the same kind of program with their consumers that this other company has. They have special plans where they pay a different dollar amount depending on your plan.
Okay.
So the cheapest plan with them that you can get is what's called an 80-20 split, where they don't care what vehicle you get from the rental company. Whatever that vehicle is, they pay 80% of the rate and you pay 20%. So that's one way that it's done. And a lot of people, when they come in with that particular insurance plan, are actually not aware that their insurance company is not paying for everything, because I guess for some reason some of the insurance agents working in this area for that company are kind of unscrupulous, I suppose, and they don't explain everything. But by far the funniest ones are the ones where they have an old policy. So if you don't go with the 80-20 split thing, you decide to pay more, they will tell you, okay, based on the car that you have and how much you're willing to pay for your insurance, when you go in to a location to get a car, we'll cover your rate up to X number of dollars per day, up to a maximum number of dollars. So the most normal one now is $25 a day up to $750, right? That's a pretty round number, and at this insurance company's rate, that's a mid-size car covered completely, because it's with tax, it's exactly $25 a day for mid-size for them. And 750, divided by 25, that's 30 days. So around 30 days, 1 month. So that's a pretty standard good plan, right? You put them in a car, the company pays for the entire car for 30 days. And if you go and you buy insurance from this company today, and you have anything smaller than a full-size vehicle, this is the plan they will offer you, because it is the standard rental replacement plan that works and has no problems. But what if you bought your insurance policy 40 years ago?
Oh boy, yeah.
40 years ago, a mid-sized vehicle was not $25. It was $15.
Oh.
And sales tax was a lot lower back then. So if you have a really old plan that you've been on, and you've transferred it from vehicle to vehicle, and you've never renegotiated anything because you're locked into whatever rate they gave to you, a lot of things with your insurance haven't changed. You can actually do this with a lot of insurance companies where you just transfer your policy to a new vehicle, and sometimes the policy itself doesn't even change. Or sometimes they just raise the price because you have a different vehicle that might be larger, but they don't really change anything in the policy. So this woman comes in, right?
Okay.
And she's got a Honda CRV. You're familiar with that, right?
Yeah.
It's an SUV. And her Honda CRV got completely fucked, hit and run, and it's going to take minimum of 3 weeks to fix the damage. And she's got this insurance from this company, and she comes in and says, I have a Honda CRV. If you can accommodate me with an SUV, that would be excellent. And I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah, it makes sense. She's used to driving an SUV.
Yeah, she's used to driving an SUV, and if we have an extra one that we don't need, of course, yeah. And this, the company that she's from brings us a lot of business, and we're disallowed from saying straight up no to people who come from this insurance company. So if we got an extra SUVs, yeah, sure, we'll put you in it. That's totally fine, you know. So I go and I get an SUV. It's like a Nissan Rogue or something, you know.
Very
similar
common size. Yeah, similar size. You know, don't want to throw her into a fucking Suburban,
or a Pathfinder or something. You know, yeah. Fucking Suburban. I can't believe that you went to Enterprise and they had to give you a free upgrade from a compact to a Suburban.
Yeah, because that's all they had. Actually, all they had. Yeah, all they had was a Suburban, like a Ram pickup truck, and like a cargo van. So
God.
Yeah, that's literally all they had.
Anyways, so I go and I get an SUV for her, and we get into her reservation from her insurance company, and I go to check and make sure that the billing is set up correctly, because oftentimes the billing is set up incorrectly, because I guess there's a lot of new people working at some of the insurance companies around here, so they've been putting in billing and information wrong and attempting to bill the wrong company for things. That's checking to make sure, you know, that the billing's all right. And I go into her policy, and I discover that her policy only covers $16 per day.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, what? Like at this point, I've been working there for almost 6 months. I have never seen that before.
Yeah, that low.
I've seen 20. I've seen $19, because those will cover the whole rate charge for a shit tier economy car in today's rates with this company, but never 16. There is no car that we have at any rate that is $16 a day. The only time you ever see a rate that is anywhere near that is if it's the off season. Rates are really low because supply is high and demand is low, and it's an employee using their discount. The only time you ever see a car that cheap, and never 16. And so I'm like, okay, ma'am. So it says here insurance policy only covers $16 a day. And she's like, yep, $16 a day. And I was like, okay, so you are aware that there is no such thing as a car that is $16 a day, correct? And she's like, what? I'm like, well, 16, this looks like it's a rate from like 30 years ago. And the lady's like, yeah, well, I've been on this plan for like 42 years. So this is my insurance plan. And I'm like, okay, at no point did State Farm ever try to negotiate raising that with you?
Yeah, I'm looking on the Hertz website. I just priced out a car for a week, and the cheapest one you have is a Nissan Versa for $199 a week, and $16 a day only covers $112. Oh
yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and that's not including all the taxes and shit. You get all the taxes.
Yeah, and that's not. I mean, that's high too. Because you're forgetting also that this is an insurance one, so we give them a special flat rate that doesn't change.
Yeah.
And For them, an economy car is 18 something, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm like, well, you know, if you've been on this plan for so long, it's usually what happens is people renegotiate their coverage, uh, so that this gets bigger over time with inflation. Because $16 a day, yeah, sure, 42 years ago, I'm sure that there was cars here that we had for them that were $16 a day, but today, no, it's not with inflation.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
she's like, well, I have been renegotiating my insurance policy. My insurance policy gets more expensive every year because I've been getting larger vehicles and insuring larger vehicles and adding people to my policy. And I was like, well, they've never actually changed this part of the policy.
yeah. They didn't change the policy; they just changed due to the
The pri-
vehicle.
the price of the vehicle and the number of people on it. They never actually changed like the coverage policy. And she was like, okay, well, I'm going to call State Farm right now. But can you tell me how much it's going to be? And I was like, ma'am, like at their rate, an SUV is $32 a day. So you're paying a minimum of 16 plus sales tax per day for the next 3 weeks.
Well,
Um,
you figure her insurance like for because I'm with Progressive and I've been with them for almost for over 10 years, and I get like more and more perks. Like I get lots of perks with that. Because I've been with them for so long. There's usually a loyalty program, and you figured that like her insurance company would have something like that.
no, they continued to raise the price of her policy, but keep the coverage low. And my thought is that they did this to save money. Would be my assumption, right?
Yeah.
So she calls her insurance, and and she puts them on speakerphone. And she says, why does my policy only cover this? And it's like, well, that's the same policy. You've been signing for this policy every year. And she's like, well, yes, but inflation, blah, 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 has to go up. And finally her adjuster's like, well, ma'am, you never asked us to do that, so we never did.
Oh.
And me and my coworker are standing there like, oh no. And this lady just starts screaming to her insurance, just like pounding her fists on the counter. I am so fucking pissed right now. And it was amazing. It was glorious. And me and my coworker are standing there, and my manager is sitting in the back office, like poking her head out, like, what the fuck is going on? And me and my coworker are standing here trying so hard not to laugh.
Yeah, because
Because
you're not getting yelled at. She's
yeah,
yelling.
because it's like it's kind of a novel experience when you work in customer service and a customer calls somebody else in front of you to yell at them. That doesn't happen very often. Usually when there's a customer standing at your counter yelling, they're yelling at you for something that you probably didn't do, but they think you did, you know? But here she is just screaming at her insurance. And me and my coworker are trying really hard not to laugh because we've never seen this happen before, and it is so funny. But we can't laugh because we feel really bad for this lady because her insurance has literally just fucked her. And they've continued to raise the price of her policy every year without actually giving her the benefits of the raising of that policy. 40 years they've kept her rental coverage the same, and she's just never noticed because even though she's been paying for more every year, she's never had to use it until now. And
Oh
so
boy.
finally her insurance adjuster just says, well, ma'am, I can't renegotiate this right now. So after the rental, then and you come around your next pay period, then we can renegotiate your insurance policy. And the woman's like, okay, yeah, sure, like I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna go to AAA.
She's just gonna go
So
with somebody else.
so she turns to me and she's like, look, and this lady's not like, she's not poor, but she doesn't have a lot of money. And she's
Yeah.
just been in an accident, and she's paying her deductible on her car. And she's been out of work for a couple of days, and she's like, look, I can't I don't want to pay $16+ a day. I know that that's not very much for a car, but I don't want to rent a car right now. I want to have a car that is mine back from the body shop. And I'm like, yeah, this is totally understandable. Unfortunately, like I can't change the rates with this rental because of the contract that we've signed with your insurance company. I can't change the rate of a car. I wish I could, but it's not possible. I can give you the cheapest car we have, and if I do that, then you'll only be paying $250 per day, but it will be an economy car.
Yeah,
And
there's only so much you can do to help her.
and she was like, okay, fine, forget the SUV. I'll drive around an economy car for 3 weeks, and that's fine. And then we put her in a car, and she proceeded to apologize for like 10 minutes for like yelling at our counter. I'm like, it's okay, it's fine. Like, we understand. We see insurance policies come through every day, and sometimes we see insurance policies that don't make any sense. And like, it's completely understandable that you got mad at your insurance company.
Yeah.
So she goes away. She's in a car for 3 weeks, and she returned just this past Friday, 2 days before the recording of this of this podcast, just 2 days ago. And comes back, and I immediately recognize her because it's that lady. It's that crazy lady who yelled at her insurance in front of us. It was hilarious. And I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? You get your car back. How's the CRV doing? Did everything go through? Did they fix the damage? Because usually when it's a customer like that, we remember like everything about that customer. What body shop they were coming from, what kind of car they had, their insurance, how much their insurance goes. Like, we remember a lot about those customers because like it's hard to forget a customer doing something so crazy in front of you. And she's like, oh yeah, my car is back from the body shop and everything. Here's your car back. And then she gives me a smile, and she's like, I just switched over to AAA.
Yeah, because wow.
And I'm like, well, I'm not surprised, ma'am. Because like I had never seen a policy do that before until I realized that they were literally just taking advantage of the fact that she had been with them for 40 years. That's all that they were doing.
Okay, here's a little tip for like if you want to go into the trucking industry. Always, like, at least once a year, go to like your superior, like your boss, or and negotiate for like a higher pay rate, because if they can keep you at the same mileage rate, they'll keep you there unless you say something. You need to say something when it's like, don't it's like remind them. It's like, hey, I've been here for over a year, or it's been a year since, and I had and renegotiate that shit, because they won't do it. Most of the time they won't do it. I'm lucky enough that like my boss just like will give me a raise like every year, usually usually like 2 cents or something, and he just does it like once a year, and it's pretty sweet. But a lot of companies will just totally not do that. And
and they won't tell you, and I see that. And granted, like I my knowledge only goes as far as car insurance, just because of the job that I'm in. But I see every day, I see people come in with no knowledge of what their insurance policies actually do. And like, my thing is, if you're gonna pay every 6 months or every month, whatever your pay period is for your car insurance, if you're gonna pay essentially a subscription fee for something, shouldn't you know what it does, and shouldn't you be aware of what it doesn't do? And and like even forgetting like the whole replacement rental, like just normal retail rentals, people on vacation, coming over to us, and like they come to rent a car, and of course Hertz offers their own coverage packages, because every rental company does that. We always offer them, and they'll say, oh no, I have I have my own insurance.
And, they're wealthy enough to have their own insurance.
Yeah, and it's like, well, yes, I'm sure you do have insurance, with your car, sir, because it's illegal to drive without insurance. But be aware that you may only have liability in a rental car. Oh no, I have full coverage of my insurance. Okay, and they go and then they hit something, and they go to file a claim with their insurance to pay for it. And then they find out that their insurance doesn't cover them when they're not in their own car.
Oh.
Very common. Very, very, very common.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're buying insurance, like, when you go to buy insurance, you buy insurance for your car. Like, are you really thinking that far ahead of, oh yeah, you should probably insure me when I'm in a different vehicle, like if I'm renting? Most people don't do that because they go, why would I rent a car?
And I know a lot of sites will tell you, hey, if you rent, because you have to use a credit card, it's like, oh, if you use a credit card, MasterCard or Visa will cover if there's any claims. The stipulation on that is you pay it first and then you file the claim with Visa or MasterCard.
Yes. If you're
go ahead.
And if you're doing a rental that's a replacement rental where your insurance company is paying for the rental, the credit card doesn't pay out for that because you're not paying for the rental.
Yeah.
So you can't even file a claim with them for that. And I have people get into cars all the time who have rental coverage on their policy by which the insurance company pays for the rental vehicle, but they don't have rental coverage on their policy by which they are insured in that vehicle. They only have state minimum liability. And there are policies that are like, oh yeah, your liability is $1 million, but if you're not in your vehicle, your liability is state minimum. And I don't know if you know this, but state minimum liability in California is like shit. It doesn't cover anything.
Yeah, like in South Dakota, it's only like $25,000.
That's not even a medical bill.
Yeah, like a broken arm is at least $50,000.
Yeah.
And that's just a broken arm.
Yeah, and that's not including if you destroy public property, like a fire hydrant, or you bend a sign. Like, liability has to cover all of those things. And if your liability is only $25,000 and you hit a person and also a fire hydrant, you are fucked.
Oh yeah.
and so I have people who get into our cars who aren't insured, and it's like, you don't have to be. And if you have insurance, you have liability. That's fine, but you don't have collision necessarily. And they go, oh, my credit card's paying for it. And they're in a replacement rental. And they fuck something up in the car, and they have to pay for it. They go to file the claim with their credit card, and their credit card goes, no, you're not paying for that rental. We're not going to pay you. and then the worst part is when like Geico, for example. Geico, our company doesn't really do a lot of business with Geico.
Geico's a shit company.
So I don't mind. So I don't mind talking shit about them for a couple minutes here.
Fuck Geico.
Most Geico insurance policies do not insure you in a rental vehicle. And when you want to be insured in a rental vehicle, like for example, if you do a lot of travel for your business and you have to rent a lot of cars, you will want to get rental coverage so that when you're driving around on your business trips, you're insured in the vehicles that you're in with, and that way you don't have to pay, the rental company coverage packages. Because while the rental company coverage packages for any rental company, enterprise or anyone, they're all very, very good and comprehensive, and they pay out a lot. They're expensive. So like you want to buy those for if it's like you're doing one trip a year, it's going to be a week and that's it. That's when you'd go with the rental companies ones, because those are comprehensive 100%. The ones that we have at our company, our liability is $3 million. You could destroy government property and you'd be fine.
Yeah, you could probably take out half a city block and you'd be okay. And
you'd be covered for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have ones where it's like if you get your laptop stolen from the car, we'll appraise the value of that model laptop and pay out to you. You know, Enterprise has one where it's accident insurance, where if you are from out of the country, for the duration of your rental, you get to be on their American health insurance plan, and you get health insurance with them if you're from out of the country.
So if you're vacationing here and you get hurt, you don't have to worry about our fucking broken ass healthcare system.
Yeah, they will pay a deductible for your medical bills through their health insurance. It's very it's huge. It's a really big deal. But those are expensive, right? So if you're going to be renting on the regular, you don't really want to use those, because they're expensive. And even though they're comprehensive, they're not cheap. So most people who do regular rentals, they get rental coverage on their policy. But Geico's rental coverage on their policy is fucking expensive. I mean, fucking expensive. And most people, when they go to buy insurance with Geico, they're just insuring their car, and they go, oh, no, I don't need that. And then they forget about that. And then they come to rent with us, and Geico is not a company we do business with at all. Geico is a company that does business with Enterprise. So we don't have any coverage or anything through Geico. So if you don't have rental coverage on your insurance plan and you're from Geico and you clip somebody, you're fucked.
Oof.
It's not file a claim and pay your deductible, it's pay all of that damage. So you take a mirror off a car, bro, you're paying for the whole thing. You fuck up a bumper, bro, you're paying for the whole thing. And the worst part is when people don't know what's on their insurance policy, and then they get angry at me because they don't know what's on their insurance policy. And it's like, sir, I'm not the one who bought your insurance for you. You did. It's the one thing I've learned from doing this job is when you go to buy insurance of any kind, or when you go to purchase something that is a recurring cost, a subscription fee, or anything like that, know what you're paying for and know what you're not paying for. And for the love of God, do not buy your car insurance at Costco. What the fuck is wrong with you?
You just remind me that they do that shit.
Yeah, it's called Ameriprise Financial. It's the worst insurance company I've ever seen. Please don't buy your insurance at Costco. Please do not. Ameriprise is terrible.
Oh man. Actually, you just sort of remind me of something, a little something sort of related to what we've been talking about regarding it's not really, but okay, so you know that when you travel overseas and you want to drive overseas, if you're in America, the thing you have to do, if you're going to Canada or Mexico, you're usually fine. Your driver's license will work in Canada or Mexico.
Yeah.
But if you want to go outside of North America, out of the big three, you gotta get an international driving permits, and the only legitimate place to get it is AAA, and it's nothing. You just gotta go in with your driver's license and your passport and $20.
Yeah, you don't have to be AAA insured. You don't even have to be a AAA member.
Yeah, they're just under that UN treaty. They are the representatives in the United States to hand out international driving permits, which works, which is great because that means it's still a good idea if you're in the States and you're going to go to Russia or Germany or Japan, that you at least get a guide to understand the signs, because the signs are going to be very different. But one thing most people don't realize, and especially because I know some people who have gone to places especially, is that it only covers 150 countries, and there's 200 plus countries out there. So it's you'll be good in North America, South America, Africa, the former Soviet Union, and Europe. but there are places in Asia, and I learned this from a friend of a friend, and he learned this the hard way. It's not covered in China.
No,
And China
it is not.
And China is not a place you want to be caught not only breaking the law because you got pulled over, but not having a license. And yeah, a friend of a friend is going to be coming back very soon to the States because they have to leave.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because
they didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, because they had an international driving permit because they were in Saudi Arabia like a year ago, and they were going to and they had to go to China, and they thought they were totally covered. And no, if you are American and you want to drive in China, you're gonna have to work out something with the U.S. consulate, to get a permit because it's not that easy. I mean, fuck. You can go to Iran. You can go to fucking Iran. Iran fucking hates us. But you can go to Iran as an American citizen with an international driving permit and drive in Iran. So it's weird that like China, like the biggest country in the fucking world that does the most business anywhere, doesn't let you use an international driving permit that you got to go through within their own system, and who knows how much of a pain in the ass that is.
To be fair, if you've ever been to China, especially Beijing, you know that you don't really want to drive there.
Yeah.
Oh God, you don't want to drive there. It's awful. It's like trying to drive in LA, but everyone's Chinese.
Yeah. And what makes it worse, and this is something that was pointed out on Top Gear, and it's also just like a fact with Chinese, like mainland Chinese drivers, is that like here in the States, the typical American, they like a big car with a big engine and like creature comforts. And in Europe, they like smaller cars that are more responsive and stuff like that. Well, in China, they're just like Americans, except without the big engine. So they have big cars with lots of creature comforts, with a little shitty-ass engine, and they've only been driving for like the past 20 years. They don't have it, so they're driving gigantic cars with underpowered engines, and they don't have like the car culture mindset because they've only started getting that within the past 20 years, so they don't really know what the fuck they're doing. And that's not like a stereotype against like Chinese drivers. It's just no, they literally like were riding bicycles until like the mid-90s.
And depending on where you are, still many are riding bicycles because that's actually a faster way. In certain places in Beijing, for example, it is actually faster to bike than it is to drive because of how horrible the traffic is.
Yeah, it's just yeah, God. Actually, you know what's the worst city for traffic? It's Mexico City.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, they said at rush hour, like if it takes you an hour to get to your destination, in rush hour it's going to take you 3.
Yeah,
that's just a standard rule in Mexico City, is that you're going to be sitting a lot, a fuckload in Mexico City, which surprised me because I figured it was either going to be L.A. or like Beijing or Shanghai. It's like no, Mexico City, and that honestly surprised me.
Yeah, you would think it would be L.A. though. Like,
oh God. Oh God, yeah. Like I've looked up because on Google Maps they have different color. Like green means good flow traffic. Yellow means it's slowing down. Red means it's very slow, and then like dark red, like blood red. I love that they use blood red. Just means you're not moving. And you can look at like the LA map, like the 405 during morning and evening rush hour. It's just solid blood red. just
Yeah,
dark blood red.
the whole area. It's crazy, and it's
Yeah.
like there's that joke, that people have, how in the UK when people go to drive, they go, oh, obey the speed limit and only drive for this long because that's how long they recommend you drive. And then in America, it's like, well, if we don't sleep, we could probably make it in 18 hours.
Yeah.
and
Or,
and my immediate response to that is like, yeah, that's what LA is.
yeah, like I've literally, you don't do it anymore because there's better like trip planning and stuff. But like when I first started driving, I would see like semi trucks just on the side of the road. They're not broken down. It's just like they literally had to pull over and go to sleep because they because they had to, because their logbook said they had to. So they're just literally on the side of the freeway, asleep in the just sleeping. And now there's like better planning and everything, and so that doesn't really happen anymore. But yeah, that's how bad LA can get. So God, okay, enough of this. Let's get into our main topic.
Let's get into our main topic here, because you want to debut a new segment that you're doing, which is where we examine SCP Foundation
Objects. Yeah.
objects. Yes, thank you. That's
Yeah, it's
so.
sort of a new segment we're doing where it's like we don't have anything really to talk about. We'll just bring out like our favorite SCPs or our favorite creepypastas or just like deep web shit that we just find interesting. We just read it off and then we just talk about it. So I figured I'd start us off, and I'm gonna be talking about something from the SCP Foundation. For people who don't know, the SCP Foundation is it's a fictional organization that documents and contains paranormal, extraterrestrial anomalies, stuff like that, any kind of weirdness. They sort of they collect it, they document it, and then they contain it. And they rarely ever do any real research with it, but they do some research sometimes, with oftentimes very very bad results. So yeah, and just to like give you a quick overview of like some of the terms I'll be using. There's a big thing called object class, and there's three of them. There's safe, there's Euclid, and there's Keter. And what this object class means is it's how well they can be contained. So safe means that the object is perfectly understood and can be safely contained. That does not mean the object is safe. That means it can be safely contained. Which means it could still kill you, and it could still be, if it's a living creature, it could still be very hostile, but they just know how to contain it. They know how to safely contain it. Euclid means they do not. It's sort of a temporary classification. It means they don't know how to really contain it, and they're trying to figure out. They're trying to research how to contain the object. Keter means it cannot be contained and thus is incredibly dangerous, and that any containment measures that are being used is temporary, and oh shit, this is a really, really bad thing, and dear God, we hope it doesn't destroy us all. That's basically what Keter means. So I think that's really all I need to go over for this object. This is a pretty long one, but we can try to get through it. I'll try to get through it pretty quickly. So, are you already on the page?
Yes, I'm looking at it. SCP-1000, and I love that the picture for this is a grainy photo of a humanoid figure standing in literally the classic Bigfoot pose.
Yeah.
I love this. This is great.
Yeah, so SCP-1000, Object Class Keter, which means it's a bad thing. Special containment procedures, and that's sort of self-explanatory. All media reports related to SCP-1000 are to be examined for potential verifiability. All organizations and individuals investigating SCP-1000's existence are to be kept under surveillance by Mobile Task Force Zeta-1000 and discredited or administered amnestics. All physical signs of SCP-1000's existence must be retrieved and kept within Foundation custody and replaced with decoy items if necessary. Alleged sightings of SCP-1000 must always be investigated by MTF Zeta-1000. Otherwise, however trivial the claim. Absolutely no contact with wild or captive instances of SCP-1000 is allowed without prior approval by Director Jones. Any interactions between SCP-1000 and humans, including Foundation personnel, must be reported to Director Jones immediately.
Like this, physical signs of existence must be retrieved and kept in custody. That's funny.
Okay, and then the picture is a still from the unverified amateur Patterson footage. So yes, that is actually a still from the Bigfoot video. Description: SCP-1000 is a nocturnal omnivorous ape classified as in the Hominid branch, along with genera Pan and Homo. Adults range in size from 1.5 to 3 meters in height. I'm not gonna say feet. And weigh between 90 to 270 kilograms. They have gray, brown, black, red, and occasionally white fur. They possess large eyes with good vision, a pronounced brow ridge, and a sagittal crest on the forehead similar to that of a gorilla, but present in both sexes. Their intelligence is on par with Pan troglodytes, otherwise known as the common chimpanzee. SCP-1000 evolved alongside Homo sapiens, existing contemporaneously with proto-humans and humans in large numbers, up until 10 to 15,000 years ago, when an extinction event eliminated all but 1 to 5% of their population. This event was triggered by SCP-1000 contracting an anomalous pseudo-disease classified as SCP-1000-F1. This disease is passed on at the genetic level and affects every present-day instance of SCP-1000. The majority of SCP-1000 instances are born immune to this effect. Those who are not born immune quickly die. The effects of SCP-1000-F1 is as follows. Any hominid, including humans, chimps, bonobos, and non-immune instances of SCP-1000 that directly or indirectly observe any instance of SCP-1000 has a minimum of 2% chance of being instantly killed through anomalous means via permanent cessation of brain function. This percentage is cumulative. The longer a human views SCP-1000, the higher the chance of instantaneous death increases at a rate of 0.1% chance per 20 minutes of viewing. This effect varies between individual members of SCP-1000 species, with some individuals carrying a death chance of 90%. The effect is also produced by dead individuals, though small fur samples do not exhibit the effect. Known means of preventing this effect are small-scale only, include redacted. See attached documentation. Level 3 clearance required. Oh, that'll be nice. Because of SCP-1000's close relation to humanity, it is considered likely that SCP-1000-F1 could eventually transfer to human characters. Any instance of SCP-1000 finding its way to major population centers could constitute a blank-class end-of-the-world scenario with a minimum death toll of redacted and a possible extinction of humanity. Fortunately, SCP-1000 appears to instinctively avoid human contact. It is not currently feasible to exterminate SCP-1000 entirely. The highest known population concentrations of SCP-1000 are at present located in the Pacific Northwest regions of North America and the Himalayan mountain range in Asia. As of blank, these populations remain extant. SCP-1000's presence and data expunged have also been documented within the past 5 years on every continent. All known significant populations of SCP-1000 located in their human population centers have been eliminated. SCP-1000 came to the attention of a Foundation via contact by Dr. France M. Blank and 14 Blank with children. Oh, wow, they've known about this for hundreds of years. With the Children of the Sun, who identified themselves as outcast members of the Serpent's Hand. These are other organizations. Just so you know, there's this is a whole setting, so there's other organizations other than SCP who fight against them.
Attention, a new important
Well,
message
sorry
has
about
arrived.
that. This group has since been completely destroyed by the Foundation due to their reluctance to surrender information about SCP-1000, SCP blank, and SCP blank, since reclassified as SCP-1000 blank and SCP-1000 blank. Remaining members have either joined the Foundation or have gone into hiding, presumably as members of the Serpent's Hand. Weapons, tools, and other unique sealed technological resources in possession of the organization have been classified as SCP-1000-001 through SCP-1000 blank. These documents have been blah 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 fucking blah blah. Let's see. Further information is to person. Sorry, this is a long one. Personnel with level clearance 3-1000 or above are required to read document Alpha 15A. Okay, addendum. As of blank, SCP-1000 special containment procedures no longer include procedure 516 Lumina, blah blah blah. All right, let's skip through this. You can read it. Let's go to the special document. Level 3 clearance required.
Now this I like this because Director Jones sounds like such a funny character.
Yeah, so let's go over, before we get into this document, let's go over. So this is basically Bigfoot, and the reason it's a Keter class is because they have a genetic anomaly, which means the longer you look at them, the more likely you'll just fucking die. So, yeah, that's pretty fucking dangerous. So, alright, let's get into the document. This is from Director Jones. You've probably heard the rumors before now. Everyone without a clearance level was to know everyone without the clearance level to know better wants to get their dig in. Did you hear that Sasquatch is an SCP? Are we gonna capture and contain Batboy next? Yes, SCP-1000 is Bigfoot. I'm sure you snickered. Don't worry, contrary to rumors, we don't actually assign you to Keter duty for finding something humorous. You think Bigfoot is funny because we want you to think Bigfoot is funny. We've bankrolled Hollywood comedies and farcical documentaries, paid off men in gorilla suits, perpetuated hoaxes with bear prints and goat fur, bribed and brainwashed cartoonists to get especially silly depictions on children's television. Even the term Bigfoot comes from us, planted in the media in 1958, a term people will find even harder to take seriously than Sasquatch. Why? We'll get to that. The information article that you've read isn't entirely true. There are two direct lies and plenty of lies of omission. There's no such thing as an anomalous pseudo disease referred to as F1. SCP-1000 does not possess a magical death aura. In fact, SCP-1000 does not directly exhibit any anomalous effect whatsoever. We also lied about SCP-1000's intelligence level. SCP-1000 aren't chimp-level smart. They're smarter. They're exactly as smart as we are. That brings us to the lies of omission, and that's what this letter is for. The lies came from me, so I figured the truth should come from me as well. This is a story we got from the Children of the Sun who defected to us. It's a story we didn't believe. We refused to believe, at first. As you've already read, the apes we call SCP-1000 evolved alongside us. We walked in the daytime, they walked in the nighttime, our nocturnal siblings in the shadows. But while we were still wandering hunter-gatherers, they changed. Like we would a few thousand years later. Tools, weapons, agriculture, domesticated animals, stable settlements. As humanity blinked in the Pleistocene sun, SCP-1000's population exploded across the night. They blanketed the planet in the tens of billions. They made things we can't comprehend, even though we've thoroughly studied the surviving pieces. Organic technology. They made trees and birds of prey into fast-moving ships, herds of animals into trains, bushes that became flying vehicles. From insects and pigeons, they made the equivalents of cell phones, televisions, computers, atomic bombs. The children describe vast shining cities stretching across glaciers and penetrating the deepest caverns, grown skyships of ivory and spider silk, creatures tending to them with hundreds of blinking eyes. We were rare, like gorillas are now, a few 100,000 left at best. We avoided their settlements just like wild animals today avoid ours. SCP-1000 understood we were intelligent like them, but avoided us just as we avoided them. They saw us as fairies, as gnomes, ascribed us supernatural powers, said we ate bad children while they slept in daylight. They fenced off our dwindling wild populations to conservatories, outlawed poaching, but in the underground consumed our bones as aphrodisiacs. Then their civilization fell, and we did it. By we, I don't mean we the Foundation. By we, I meant humanity. The story is muddy. Supposedly a trickster forest god showed humanity favor, showed us the master's tools and how to use them, and why we did it, we don't know. Perhaps they hunted us. Perhaps we were simply afraid. Perhaps it was just that they fenced us in, and unintentionally or not. We simply don't know what the truth is. Somehow we acquired SCP's own technology, and with it, we instigated an SK-class dominance shift in which humanity became the dominant species of Earth. We wiped out 70% of SCP-1000's population in a single day. The Day of Flowers, the children called it. Supposedly every flower bloomed that day, while our enemies died in their sleep. Then we hunted the rest down, but we went further than just killing them. With few of the more twisted of SCP's devices, we drove the survivors mad. Even those hiding beyond our reach, we trapped them in their own minds, blocking higher functions and leaving their bodies to fend for themselves like any ordinary ape. We slaughtered their living machines and burned their vast shining cities with SCP-1000's bioweapons that reduced everything to slurry and dust that washed or blew away in the spring rain and wind. We left no traces, not even our own memory. We turned one of the weapons on ourselves, wiped out any knowledge of SCP-1000 and the greatest civilization the planet had ever seen. Only a few humans protected themselves from the effect, kept the forbidden knowledge just in case. The rest of us went back to being hunter-gatherers, none the wiser, which brings us to today. You're going to read all this in the Level 3 documentation, but I'll give you the short version here. SCP-1000 are somehow regaining their forgotten intelligence and knowledge. Maybe they never truly lost it. We don't know. This is why the ever-increasing number of Bigfoot sightings is so worrying. Why the attempts at contact, however indecipherable, are even more worrying. Yes, SCP-1000 are just like us. That's what makes them so dangerous. We wiped them from history and memory. We dissolved their civilization, and we slaughtered most of their species. Just ask yourself, if they got a chance, what more would they do to us? And then there's a addendum. Instances of 1000 have tried to make contact with the Foundation on multiple occasions. Most of these attempts of contact have been data expunged, untranslated, though recent attempts show that some instances of SCP-1000 are capable of communicating in English. The following is a rough translation of a recent SCP attempt at communication with the Foundation personnel. We forgive you, given choice for now, not forever. Let us back in. So,
what I love about things like this, especially the SCP universe in general, and like I'm a little conflicted. On one hand, I really wish that this was like a television show, but on the other hand, I know that they'd probably fuck it up, so I'm glad it's not. One of the things I love about this is that a lot of these are twists on paranormal or supernatural things we are already well familiar with, like Mothman or Bigfoot.
That's what I really like about this is that it takes the Bigfoot trope and just it turns it one way and then it cranks it like 180 degrees the other way. So they take like, oh, Bigfoot, and it's like, oh, it's got like a super disease that'll kill you if you look at it. And it's like, no, it's actually even weirder than that. Let's just crank it all the way over here. And it's just this idea that we evolved alongside them and we just completely fucking decimated them, and the reason that they're so dangerous is because they're just like us. That's a catch I really like about this. So yeah, that's I guess our first of these SCP slash creepypasta filler episodes. So what would you give this one in particular? Would you say this is a pretty good one, or?
I love how my favorite part of this one is that it subverts Bigfoot in a way, and it starts off with like, oh, if you look at this thing for too long, you'll fucking die. And then like you read down farther, and it's Director Jones, and he's just like, no, that's a lie. You won't do that. We're just trying to make it seem funny and stupid so that people don't believe it because the shit's fucked up. And
Oh, sorry, my thing is sorry, my e-log is just going nuts.
oh, that's your truck thing. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
like,
what that
I was like, is that the data limit warning on your phone?
no. It's our e-log system. I forgot to mute it. That's why I was shouting earlier. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. It's just like, yeah. Don't worry. It's not this dangerous thing. It's a completely different dangerous thing. But yeah, I have several more SCPs that I'd like to go over in future filler episodes. Because again, this one was a pretty long one, so I figure I'd just limit it to one. So, yeah, all right, I'm good.
I like that one. That's a fun one.
Yeah, and hopefully, the more I read them, the better I'll get at reading them, so it doesn't sound so muddled and all that. So, practice makes perfect. So, all right, let's go ahead and go on to the cool shit.
All right. As always, links to anything we talk about in this show, cool shit or otherwise, can be found in our show notes, which of course you'll find linked in the description boxes for our YouTube episodes. My first piece of cool shit this week comes from YouTube, and it is a video titled Neil deGrasse Tyson Explains the Universe While Eating Spicy Wings. And it's from a show on YouTube called Hot Ones, which is from a YouTube channel called First We Feast. And Hot Ones is, well, it's a bit of a novelty interview show. The guy who runs this, I can never remember the name of the interviewer, but he has people on his show, and he interviews them about their careers, or ask them about their thoughts on philosophy or anything like that. And as the questions become more and more complicated, the spicy hot wings they're eating become more and more spicy, going up the Scoville scale to, I believe, 350,000 Scoville.
Oh god.
And it's a very, very funny show because it's just an interviewer asks someone 10 questions, and for every question they eat a hot wing, and just the more complicated the questions get, the spicier the wings get. And this one is him talking to Neil deGrasse Tyson about astrophysics, and also promoting Neil deGrasse Tyson's latest book, because this episode's fairly recent, but promoting Neil deGrasse Tyson's latest book, Astrophysics for People in a Hurry, which, by the way, is a very good book. I've actually read it already. It's a really great book. And it does what it says on the tin. If you're in a hurry, you can slam through this book in a weekend.
Nice.
But this show, Hot Ones, is very funny. He's had Rachel Ray on. He's had Tommy Chong on, Seth Rogen, James Franco, Ricky Gervais. So it's a really fun little short show that I highly recommend people watch.
Cool. That it kind of reminds me of Drunk History, where they get historians really drunk and they have to talk about like certain major events in history.
I love that. Yeah, that's a good one too.
I love the one historian. He's like so drunk that like right in the middle of like talking about like Abraham Lincoln, he just sort of goes kind of off topic and just says, "I have really big balls."
I fucking love drunk history.
Okay, and for my first cool thing, while I desperately look for a second cool thing, my first cool thing is this YouTube channel called Oxhorn, and it's done by this guy with a beard, a bowler cap, with a shot glass and a cigar, and that's literally how he portrays himself. And he does a podcast, but he also does guided tours of events and sites and things in the Fallout universe. So,
Oh, this is cool.
yeah, so he does sort of like a guided tour of like different missions, and he investigates them. He investigates them thoroughly, like any kind of little thing that you might have missed during your playthrough. He goes through it. He also speculates on the motivations of certain people, of certain NPCs, and he'll also like take tours of like different areas and tries to suss out the history of that area by either. He tries to stick to in-game. He's gone to the Fallout Bible a few times, a couple times, especially like in the older games like Fallout 1 and 2. But he goes and he'll suss out why a certain area is the way it is using the content that's in the game, and he sort of like guides you through it and stuff. So it's definitely it's a great channel if you've played through like Fallout 4 or 3 or New Vegas and don't really want to play through it again, but you want somebody just to be like, hey, here's all this stuff here, and you could be like, oh yeah, I missed that. That's really cool. That's why I like this guy, because it's guided tours to just about everything in the Fallout universe. I think he's got like some fucking 370 episodes just in Fallout 4 itself. And they're like at least 20 minutes long. So there's a lot. He's got a lot of content, and now he's starting to get into Fallout 1, which is really cool because it's been like over 20 years since I played. Or no, not 20. It's been like, let's say like 17 years since I played Fallout 1. So it's really cool that he's going into Fallout 1 and just remembering all the stuff in that game. So yeah, check him out if you're a fan of Fallout, and just check this guy out. So, all right, on to you.
All right. My next piece of cool shit here is a video called "This is what happens when Kadinsky plays City Skylines," and it is a video by Bart Jung on YouTube where he, in City Skylines, recreated Vasily Kandinsky's "Circle in Circles" painting using city layout. Which is a phenomenal feat because Circle in Circles is a very intricate painting. From a geometrical standpoint.
Yeah, I've watched his video before, and it's almost completely accurate. It's like completely accurate. This is cool.
A very short 2-minute time lapse video of him constructing this city. And it, at the end, pans upwards, so you get a bird's eye view of the city, and then he superimposes Vasily Kandinsky's Circle in Circles over it, and you can see how perfectly he's managed to recreate all of the angles and the circles of the painting, and all of the proportions as well. I can only imagine how difficult that would have been to, and tedious to actually do, but it's a really, really great video because it's just a testament to how given the right set of circumstances, someone can do absolutely ludicrous bullshit with a video game and create art. We'll say it that way.
This is also a testament to how much Maxis fucked up SimCity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to bring up that, but yeah. Yeah, this is a really cool video. SimCity, City Skylines, God. It's fucking amazing. It's an amazing game. I love it. It's great. Go play it. If you've ever played SimCity, go play City Skylines. It's
It's very good.
It's a true SimCity. Okay, my final cool thing is this. It's kind of hard to explain this guy. Well, okay, well it's not. He reviews PC games, but he does it pretty much on viewer request, and he mostly focuses on games that kind of fly under the radar, and he talks about them in a very I won't say he strives for comedy, but he just points out the absurdity in these games. Like, he did a review of I Divine Cybermancy, which is that really fucking weird French RPG that's made in the Source engine. And he just sort of he makes comedy out of just the strangeness of the games. And like same with like Endless Legend. He did my favorite review he did was a review of Space Station 13 where he spends a good part of the episode just talking about installing Space Station 13. And then he spends the rest of the episode talking about how he played as a he I mean, he gives you really good advice in the starting out these games. Like in Space Station 13, he's just like, look, when you start out, just be an assistant, because nobody will yell at you, and you can pretty much just go do what you want. But he talks about how he rolled as being a cop, and he was investigating a clown that was causing some troubles, and something happened. He died, and a researcher, a geneticist, like picked up his body, and he died of a disease that like melted all his flesh off his bones, so he was just a skeleton, and a geneticist like grabbed his skeleton and brought him back to life. So now he's like Skull Cop. And then like a fire happened, and then they left the space station. I think he like a bunch of the people in the game decided to start a cult and summoned like a demon, which blew up the space station, so they all had to fucking leave, and that's how they played that game. Just crazy shit. He really kind of tears into stuff like he really tears into like PlanetSide and EVE Online as well, but in a sort of funny, humorous kind of way. But yeah, he just, I don't know, he's a really fascinating, really fun to watch PC game reviewer. So yeah, just go check him out. Again, I recommend Space Station 13 review, Endless Legend review, and the Divine Cybermancy review. Those are all really good. So yeah, all right. I don't know about you, but it's starting to get really hot.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn a fan on at some point.
Yeah, at least we're recording earlier in the day.
Yeah, actually, I think recording earlier in the day is probably a good idea for us.
Yeah, because
when possible.
Yeah, well, at least for the summer. In the wintertime, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, in the summertime, yeah, definitely earlier in the day, because it gets fucking hot in the evening. God, I'll be, because I'm up here in Seattle right now. I am really fucking glad I'm gonna be out of here by Monday, because they're calling for 106 degrees like Tuesday and Wednesday up here.
Oh God.
And that really sucks for the people who live here, because I think like 90% of the people here don't have air conditioning. So yeah, they're kind of fucked.
Yep, it's the same. It's the same here.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys do it. I love air conditioning.
Yeah, me too. I don't know how we do it either.
Yeah, seriously, dude. When you get your own place, just fucking splurge and get yourself a window unit. Cause
hell, yes, that is what I am doing in my computer room.
Yeah. We have central air, so it's pretty sweet. And well, I'm in my truck, so I could just turn the truck on and just have. Oh God, I was okay. Before we sign off here, I was in Iowa, and it was pretty average temperatures for Iowa. It was like, between 80 and 90 degrees, so pretty fucking warm. But but because they had rainstorms, the humidity was just really high. So that just makes everything, because humidity makes just everything fucking worse. So I was in my truck, and I had gone to like sign in with the shipper and stuff. So I left my truck running with the AC on full blast. And when I came back, my windows were just completely almost iced over, because the AC was just blowing so hard that it was literally freezing the water to the glass. So, yeah, AC is awesome. Get it. If you don't have it, get it. It's not that expensive. Stop being so cheap.
Stop being cheap like an Asian person.
Okay, I was going to say something else, but yeah, we'll go with Asian person.
And with that, we out.
All right, we out. Bye.